I don't trust my husband. I, 32F, want to know how to trust my husband, 30M. We've known each other for 15 years and he's never given me a reason to mistrust him. We were friends for 2 years before we started dating. Dated for 8 years and have now been married for 5. Nothing has really changed in our relationship except that I stopped working, making me a SAHW. I initially stopped working because we were going to start a family, but I have since found out I won't be able to fall pregnant naturally and we aren't interested in going the artificial way. We've since started up a company together so I haven't had to go back to my initial job of teaching. My husband has always had more of a social life than me, but lately I have been worrying a lot more about him when he goes out. I worry about his safety. I worry about him cheating. I worry about everything. All of this is irrational. I know this, but I can't seem to quiet my mind. My chest gets tight and breathing is almost impossible. But I don't have a reason to feel this way. For my own sake, my own health, I need to learn to trust my husband and I don't know why I don't. Too long did not read. I have recently developed a mistrust in my husband and he's not given me any reason to. Edit 1. Thank you all for taking the time. Even if it was just to say that this you don't believe it should be on here. I think for so many, resolving problems can start on platforms like this though. I now see how I'm definitely not alone in experiencing this, it's something experienced by many. Edit 2. I will schedule an appointment with a healthcare professional, as even though I see that many believe that staying busy will help, there is a deeper cause that needs attention. I need to get to the root of the problem and not just TTEAT the superficial symptoms thereof. Edit 3. I have a handful of friends, really good friends, that I talk to often, but not get to see as often as I like. They're in a time of their life, I would have been as well, where kids and family come first. I live in a very small town, and there aren't many community opportunities to social, but I'll actively start looking into getting out more and making friends based on interest, not age. Edit 4. I haven't seen many of these, but for those saying that my intuition might be telling me that he is cheating. I completely understand where you are coming from, but my husband is a good guy and I definitely believe I'm causing these issues for myself. Edit 5. Once again, thank you for your advice all. I'll try to respond, but please bear with me, as the amount of responses are way more than expected. You need to talk to your doctor about your anxiety. It's normal for women your age in relationships to worry about this. You are getting older and you can't have children. At least at a subconscious level you understand that men are naturally inclined to seek younger women to procreate with. If you think your husband is an attractive mate, this is a natural worry. I don't know if I have good advice. Really, just be the best partner you can be. Maybe talk about what you both want and make sure those things continue to be aligned. I didn't get diagnosed with anxiety until I was in my 30s. It had been life-changing. See a psychiatrist. Then maybe book into therapy. I did cognitive behavior therapy for a few years and it helped. I had to almost relearn how to think and how to stop my brain from going down all those what-if roads. Mine gets worse for a variety of reasons, like feeling other parts of my life are out of my control, family visiting, holidays, not getting enough quality time with my etc. Good luck. As others are saying, definitely try talking to a doctor about your symptoms. Having your chest tighten while finding it hard to breathe makes me think that you may be having anxiety attacks. Also, what are you doing while he goes out? Do you have many immersive hobbies? If not, I would consider trying some out. Staying at home just worrying about him definitely won't help. On top of that, it may help to talk to him about what you're experiencing. Trust is built, right? So it couldn't hurt to have him help fix it. Do you think maybe it has something to do with starting a company together and or the change in plans about having a baby and starting a family? Because to me that seems like it's a lot to take in, and it doesn't sound like he's doing anything wrong. Those events might have started some kind of anxiety and they are manifesting in other areas of your life. But seeing a therapist never hurts either. In fact, it is life-changing and highly recommend it. Hope everything goes well. Trust is foundational to a relationship. If you can't trust your husband, you should divorce him. Go see a doctor, and find a part-time job. This seems more like something anxiety-related than him giving you a reason to not trust him. I would talk to your doctor or look up a therapist in your area. Therapy really helped me grow. I think if you're honest about your anxiety issues to your husband and tell him you want to speak to a mental health professional, I'm sure he will support you. If you're worried about what he would think, I would just tell him you're struggling with anxiety and would like to get some help. Therapy is a journey, but one of the best ones you can make. Sending hugs your way. I am dealing with the same exact issue. I actually started going to therapy for it. You are not alone with the feelings you are having, and you are not crazy. I would recommend finding a therapist to talk to. It has worked wonders for me, but I still do slip up every once in a while. I was in the same exact boat as you. I had quit my job for 5 months and I was a stay-at-home GF. Those thoughts of him being unfaithful totally consumed my mind, but with therapy it definitely helped. You have bad anxiety. This can be dealt with. If he's going to cheat, he's going to cheat. You worrying about it isn't going to change a thing. So you might as well not. Also, finding your own identity and career may help. You probably aren't too confident in who you are. Honestly, I have gone through exactly this. Anxiety. Loads of it. Do you do anything to keep yourself preoccupied? I know being a SAHW accumulates a lot of anxiety and stress because of the environment and feeling cooped up, so maybe him going out makes you worry because you'll feel stuck. That's just my guess. I'd speak to a therapist though and solve the root of your anxiety though. You're not alone. Odd question, but where are you mentally with not being able to become pregnant? Feeling okay with it? Struggling with it? Internet hugs and external validation. First off, it's wonderful that you see this is an issue and want to work on it. That puts you ahead of 90% of people in this situation. It sounds like therapy is going to be very useful. My guess as an internet stranger is that this anxiety is coming from dealing with fertility problems and starting a new business together. You had a certain life planned out and it's not going to happen. I am so sorry. It's affecting how you see and define yourself in terms of relationships and roles. He's your rock, so you want to keep your rock from crumbling. I'm going to make an appointment to get a referral for counseling. I'm feeling anxiety that isn't normal and want to nip it in the bud. We're great, I need the therapy for me. Increased anxiety can be a sign of perimenopause. It was my first sign. Since you can't get pregnant naturally, maybe you are heading towards early menopause. Just a thought. I would talk to a therapist before laying this out on your husband. He hasn't given you a reason to worry, but then again you are worried. I can't tell if your intuition is sending you alarm bells or if this could be a case of insecurity and anxiety. My husband has always had more of a social life than me, but lately I have been worrying a lot more about him when he goes out. Part of it sounds like anxiety. So what triggers the worry? I would start there and see if it can give you some clues on what it is that's causing this reaction. It doesn't sound like you don't trust your husband so much as it sounds like you're having severe anxiety, but I'd consider a mental health eval to be sure, or bringing it up more with your therapist. A professional outside opinion would be more helpful to you, I think. You need to go to therapy so you can explore your feelings. Ask your husband if you can tag along sometimes. Sounds like you may just have some cabin fever and it's making you anxious. Speak with a doctor. Second the talk to a doc comment. You're showing symptoms of anxiety, which may respond well to a combination of light meds and therapy. If you find something else to occupy your mind, it might help. Like maybe picking up a new hobby. Maybe creating things with clay. I decided to start doing that myself. I'm not in a relationship, but I have other things in my life causing anxiety. Therapy is somewhat helpful too. But for me, exposure is the best method of handling the anxiety. I'm not sure how that translates to your situation though. If it's not rational thinking, you probably just need a low anti-anxiety. You can a script from your general practitioner. Lexapro works best for me. Even if he hasn't given you reasons not to trust him, do you feel like he gives you reasons to trust him? Somebody else's anxiety can't be cured by any one person, but as someone with their own slew of mental issues including anxiety, my partner alleviates a lot of the extra worries for me. Of course, I had to go to therapy and do a lot of self-reflection, and I'm still learning, but does he provide you with reassurance, comfort, emotional security? When you have an issue, is he by your side to help you fix it, or to hold your hand through it otherwise? Do you feel as though you could rely on him to choose you out of a room full of people? Do his actions reflect that? Just wanted to hop on to say that realizing the problem and wanting to fix it is a really big step and you're doing great. With your story it might sound like you get anxious because of boredom, understimulation almost. Because he has a lot to do and places to be and people to see and you do not. Talking to your doctor and getting into a new hobby can truly help. About telling your husband, there is no need to lie, hide or feel shame. Tell him that you have been feeling anxious lately and it's gotten worse and you want to fix it. Everybody goes through tough times and you are not alone. I haven't seen many of these, but for those saying that my intuition might be telling me that he is cheating. I completely understand where you are coming from, but my husband is a good guy and I definitely believe I'm causing these issues for myself. Anyone can cheat. Learned that the hard way when a man I could have sworn will never lie and cheat ended up lying and cheating. Just be careful op. Go see a shrink and stop projecting your problems onto your husband. Like the other replies, since there is no evidence of your husband cheating or doing something wrong, it most probably you are suffering from anxiety with depression. Yep. See your GP. And organize an appointment plan with a psychologist. If you have an inkling he can't be trusted, it's likely true. But probably not today. So, try to think of him like a roommate and work on removing yourself emotionally a bit. If he goes out one night, you go out one night. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Chances are when you go out as often as he does with your buddies, even if you go to a movie on your own and he thinks you're with a friends, he won't want to go out with the guys as often. You're young, this too shall pass. Trust yourself, you are not crazy. Therapy for anxiety. Also find a social outlet for yourself so you don't feel so alone and left behind. It's hard right now because pandemic, but maybe start with the subreddit for your town and see what events call out to you. Find your tribe. Good luck and I hope you feel better beating heart. Please don't have kids until you start trusting your husband. Just a thought, have other people around you broken up, cut contact or something alike since the start of COVID lockdowns in 2020. Lots of people around me have seen their anxiety and depression levels skyrocket since, and lots of relationships have changed or ceased. It would make perfect sense to me to be concerned about losing things that make you feel stable and secure since stability and security have been in short supply lately. I would talk to your hubby about it, maybe he can put your mind at ease. So you have good friends circle. How often do you meet them? How active is your social life? I'm just gonna echo everyone's comment to talk to your doctor. As for your husband, you also need to be upfront about your feelings. Make sure you focus that it's about you, not him. But he needs to know so he'll be able to help you as well, if he wants to. Anxiety isn't logical. It's insidious. It wraps around scenarios in your head and then twists them. Whispering, this could happen. You need to see a therapist. And if your husband asks why, tell him, anxiety is twisting everything to feel like it could happen even though logically I know it won't. This is probably generalized anxiety disorder. In the unlikely event your husband asks why you have a doctor APPT. Simply tell him you've been anxious about things that don't make sense. That finding out you won't be able to get pregnant has taken you off balance. Embellish either of those if you must, but keep it mostly true. He may understand if you tell him you're worried he'll cheat, he may not, but you can get help without saying that's foremost in your mind. There will be other things bothering you as well. Both of you will notice a huge difference once treatment starts. Join him in his socializing more. Make it clear that you want to have a good time with him. Be friends with his friends. Get your own hobbies. Source. This is an issue with women I've been with, lived around, etc. No real interests for the self leaves you digging into anything and everything. Try tantric intimacy. TT has a lot of good videos on it. I think this is best soothed by communicating these concerns to your husband. And there are ways to bring this up without turning it to a fight. We sometimes need reassurance from our partners every now and then, even after being together for a long time. You can tell him that you have been having these thoughts, and before he gets worked up let him know that you are not happy with the way you are thinking too, which is why you are bringing it up in the first place, to air it out before it gets worse. Have him work on this with you, whether it be by words of comfort or by bringing you into his social life as well. Cognitive behavioral therapy will really help you with anxiety and intrusive thoughts like this, and help change your brain to be more positive with enough practice. But also, make it a point to develop a social circle as well. Life is long. You've decided that kids probably aren't the route you will take considering the information you now know. You'd put 10,000% more effort into a baby than making friends. So go put a 100% into making friends and getting better at being social. See if there is something like Toastmaster near you or a social meetup group. Could a factor in this be how dependent you are on your husband to meet your basic survival needs? Right now it sounds like you've been out of the workforce for a while, have maybe not a ton of close social supports, and are building a company with your husband instead of working for an employer who will consistently pay you as long as you do the work. Maybe you are feeling worried about your independence. Since you are home and share a business with him, you might be feeling a need other outlets for social interaction, etc., on your own. Just a thought. You are having anxiety that he is going to want a genetically linked child. That's where the sudden mistrust comes from. My heart goes out to you both. Well, you definitely have a lot of time on your hands and need some hobbies aside from the obvious work as humans need to do on ourselves to overcome our demons. We've known each other for 15 years and he's never given me a reason to mistrust him. This is a you problem. Therapy, stat. My friend, you are having anxiety attacks. These are extremely common, even more so since the pandemic. Hey, you need to see a therapist. If the feelings are recent, I would suggest your drastic change in lifestyle is more the problem. You had a job and then you had an idea of a family life. Both are no longer your focus and now you have lots of time to fill. I would suggest you find someone to talk to and something to do. I agree with everyone that advise you to see a doctor. You need to see a mental health professional as soon as possible. The problem isn't your husband, it is you. You have a lot going on in your mind right now. As you said, you stopped working, so you're home a lot with your not so friendly thoughts. You found out you can't get pregnant without going through some processes. This is a big deal to most people that want children. Your mind needs rest. You need to vent to a professional who will help you cope with your issues and get your thoughts reorganized. It's actually nothing about your husband. You're feeling inadequate, not being able to have kids, and you'll feel a sense of not knowing where you are in this world. Your feeling that he is cheating is because you're questioning your self-worth and letting the anxiety of it project blame. It's a coping mechanism so as to not be upset about yourself. In times I was unreasonably annoyed with my wife about some small mistake. I realized it was because I was really unhappy with myself about something else. This may not be the case, but it's what I felt when I read your post.